Hello and welcome back to Lorehammer. I'm your host, Mark, and we got a fun episode of Minor Xenos. You know the drill. We got a bunch of filthy Xenos joining me today. Man, we got quite the lineup of hosts here. We got the two most reviled guests in all of Lorehammer history. First up, we got Christian. I don't know why you're so hated, but you are.
Yeah, I wonder that every day when I wake up too.
Yeah,
Why do I hate
fucking.
myself?
Oh man, your wife's hot. Why? Life's good, man, for you. Whatever. And Bobby Jack, you're also with us, and I know why you're hated.
I'm hated because I am the Jack Mayhofer. I fan favorite, better than
You
Christian.
kind of remind me of like the Wabba Jack. You just come in and create chaos.
Yeah.
And yeah, leave it at that. So that's nice.
Yeah, sexually harass Gerald. I'm hoping to sexually harass Christian this episode. We will see where it takes us.
Yeah.
Not if I harass you first.
No, I could grope you harder than you could grope me, pal.
And hand check. No, too soon for hand checks. Yeah, we got a fun episode of Minor Xenos. Before we get into it, we'll do some quick housekeeping. Come join the Discord. There's links in the description below. It's the best place to keep up to date with everything that we're doing. Lots of good things happening there. Yeah, there's still movie night, I believe, on Sunday. So you could go watch some 40K-ish themed movies if you want. Lots of fun things. So join the Discord.
Always a good time. Also, if you want to help support the show, please feel free to join the Patreon, join the Imperial Tithe. You can get an ad-free version of the show for only $2.50 or a video version for $5.
And on top of joining the Patreon, you will also have access to the live chat room in which you can say how much you love me, such as the Lupercal TV. Thank you, Loop. Love you too. Mwah.
I think the ... implies sarcasm, at least in my interpretation of the read.
There's no such thing as
sarcasm. Sarcasm's fake. Listen, sarcasm is fake and gay.
Fake news, fake and gay. And you could also be a call-in guest, so you could say words and we could tell if it's sarcasm, because sarcasm over text is completely unreadable and doesn't exist because it's fake and gay.
Yes, okay. Yeah, well, quick intro. I love it. This episode's going to be tight. We got one really exciting Xenos to talk about that's been name dropped a whole bunch of times. The Uvoth. I feel like they keep coming up. We also got the Viskeon. And I feel like they had the least amount of information, but they had some cool artwork and a cool model and just enough information for me to squeak an episode out. And then we also have the Zoats, which are like old school 40K and then kind of brought back in a newer edition. So we'll go into those three Minor Xenos. And we'll do our typical kind of, overview, appearance biology, powers, abilities, history, homeworld. Every time somebody says galactic geography, especially me, I say it like a silly man. So I love that one. The culture and beliefs, technology, military, galactic relations, and what we would do kind of on tabletop and with minis. So it's going to be cool.
Yeah. We're going to have a great time. We're going to sexually harass Christian.
It'll happen. You got to ease into it, man. You don't see, the thing is, you don't want to come on too strong. You want to overwhelm all of a sudden.
He said he was going to do it first.
I didn't see that in the note.
Oh, it's in my notes. I just have a different set of notes. It's not pictures of you naked.
No.
Yeah. Well, I painted you like a French girl.
Cut out of his face over and over. Yikes.
Yeah, with the newspaper clipping, like different word, like letters in newspapers.
What I don't like is in the future there's going to be an AI version of my voice. There's enough audio out there, and somebody's going to fall in love with it. Make it fall in love with them.
Yeah, we've said
gonna make me a Christian AI fall in love with each other. It's gonna be awful, man.
I don't need AI for that. Let's be honest. There's some
romance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cupid Zero just hasn't struck yet, but it will.
Now we love them. We just don't know why. Yeah. Do you guys know anything? Have you ever heard anything about these Xenos? I'm sure, Christian, you have, and Bobajack, you've heard nothing about anything important.
Yeah. I listen. That's definitely true. I say that whenever my girlfriend's talking, so yeah.
I'm surprised you have a girlfriend. Anyways.
Me too, man.
Viskeon, the Pokemon.
Viskeon is a Pokemon.
All right. The Viskeons are a minor xenos species in the Warhammer 40k universe, known primarily through secondhand Imperial reports and their brief but violent interactions with the Imperium. Little is concretely known about their society, but what has been documented suggests that they are aggressive, territorial, and technologically competent. The Viskeons operate in fleets of needle-like warships and are believed to originate from deep within the uncharted space. Their presence was notably recorded in the Viskeon War, during which they clashed with the Imperium and ultimately repelled. Despite their defeat, the Viskeons demonstrated an unexpected level of strategic capability and advanced weaponry. Their motivations remain mysterious, and due to their isolation, few outside their race understand their culture or goals. The Imperium currently considers the Viskeons a threat, best avoided rather than engaged, with inquisitorial records advising caution should they ever reemerge from the void. I am surprised Viskeons plural is Viskeons and not just Viskeons, but that's just me.
I mean, I agree that is just you. Viskeons is a way funner word to say.
We got some cool pictures of them. They do look pretty savage. Not the most savage thing or like feared or like whatever. But yeah, they definitely look kind of warlike and violent and brutal looking. You know, they got kind of some spikes on their face and stuff. And
yeah, they definitely like eat you after.
yeah, I could get that vibe. I don't know if this piece of art is an official piece of artwork, but it looks like them, and it looks very, very kind of scary.
Yeah,
It looks like
they're almost tribal.
Yeah, like I'm getting strong creature from the Black Lagoon mixed with a little bit of Predator, a little bit of
which really leads us into appearance in biology. Thank you. It's one of my best, actually. The exact physical appearance of the Viskeons, see how it has an S there because that makes sense, remains largely speculative, as very few living specimens have been encountered by Imperial forces. Most reports originate from battlefield engagements. What little has been observed suggests that they are spindly, possibly insectoid or arachnid in nature, with elongated limbs and fluid, unnatural movement. Fluid, unnatural movement. Some accounts describe them as semi-translucent or cloaked in bioengineered armor that shifts color and refracts light. These traits have led some xenobiologists to hypothesize that their biology may be partly adaptive, capable of limited camouflage or blending with surrounding environments. Due to their limited exposure to Imperial scholars, no autopsies have been publicly documented, and their internal physiology remains unknown. Whether their unusual traits are biological or cybernetic in origin is unclear, blurring the lines between organism and machine. This mystery only adds to the fear and the mystique that surrounds the Viskeon among frontier settlements and exploratory fleets. The cloaking really is just Predator.
Yeah, and even that like artwork that's pulled up almost looks very Predator-ish.
Yeah. Do we know if they count? Like, I know it's all like not publicly known, but like they have killed them before, or like could this just be like a misinterpretation of one of those termitid like stealth dudes?
No, they definitely this race comes from the Inquisitor scale game, which was like a pretty detailed game, and I think this was one of the bad guys you could play in it. So we know them pretty well. They're pretty fleshed out. Like they've definitely been killed and stuff.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah,
they
if
got
you can play them on the tabletop. They could have been killed. Like we have that lines and stuff.
Oh, okay, rad.
Yeah. Any powers and abilities? While not known to possess psychic powers on par with warp-wielding species like the Eldar, the Viskeons demonstrate an uncanny proficiency proficiency in battlefield mobility, coordination, and survivability. They are believed to possess some form of hive intelligence or collective awareness, as their units operate with eerie synchronization and react to threats without apparent communication. Their ability to infiltrate and outmaneuver even fortified Imperial positions hint at sensory and stealth technology integrated into their biology or armor. Reports also indicate rapid regeneration of injured tissue, suggesting a robust cellular repair mechanism. Additionally, some individuals have exhibited unnatural speed and wall-scaling agility, leading some to theorize that they evolved in low-gravity or vertical environments. Though unconfirmed, there are hints of advanced chemical warfare capabilities, as several Imperial casualties suffered from corrosive burns and neurological damage inconsistent with conventional weaponry. Overall, their abilities make them unpredictable and dangerous foes in close and range combat alike. They start to kind of sound a lot like some type of engineered assassin. And maybe it was humans who did it. I don't think there's really anything that's like hints towards anyone specific, but it really does sound like some type of engineered weapon.
Yeah. Plus the fact that they are so humanoid.
Yeah, and like maybe it's like they took a human, they turned a bunch of them into these. Maybe this is like a really far out ab human, but like it doesn't even have to be human once again. But it just is that.
Yeah, it could be even old ones. Like they bioengineered everything, like orcs. And these could be like the stealth attack versions. Well, I want to say versions of orcs, but militarized species.
Yeah, I was gonna say orcs already have a stealth version. They're just purple and we can't see them.
It worked too well though, so they
It
disappeared.
just worked too well, yeah. Try rolling the hit on that.
Too with their kind of ability, their hive mind almost. They kind of describe it as, not quite, but their ability to it's not telekinesis. Telepathy would be the one where you communicate with mind. Yeah.
So they have some latent psyker abilities, most likely.
Small known fact: I have a little bit of telepathy.
Oh.
Do you feel that?
Yeah. What am I thinking of right now?
Oh, I can only project thoughts into you. I can't.
Oh, okay. It was you naked, but yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I just penetrate your brain. That's all.
Penetrate
one way.
Yeah.
Let's get into the history of the Viskeon. The Viskeons first came to Imperial attention during the Viskeon War, a short but intense conflict where several frontier systems were assaulted by needle-shaped ships of unknown origin. The Imperium initially underestimated the threat, assuming it to be a minor xenos raid, but the precision and coordination of the attacks revealed the deeper military structure. Over the course of several engagements, the Viskeons displayed sophisticated tactics and the ability to exploit vulnerabilities in Imperial defenses. Their push was eventually halted by a coordinated Imperial counteroffensive, though not without significant losses. Following their defeat, the Viskeon seemingly vanished, retreating into the void beyond Imperial charting. No major incursions have been recorded since, and Imperial authorities remain uncertain if the conflict was an isolated expansion attempt, a reconnaissance campaign, or a larger strategy yet to unfold. Their sudden appearance and equally sudden disappearance continue to puzzle Imperial strategists and Inquisitors alike.
I remember like flipping through this Inquisitor scale RPG, but I definitely never really read it. Like I flipped through it in a game store, very briefly. And I wish I knew kind of. Yeah. About the actual campaign and stuff, and I couldn't quite find a good copy to go through. But like they almost sound like they were the big bad of that campaign, is kind of what I could gather, but I'm not fully sure.
That would be crazy if they had that much content.
Yeah, like they had ideas for them, and like a new minor Xenos could have appeared, and then they were like, "Yeah, but we could make more Space Marine models."
Shelve it.
Well, did Games Workshop, they made that Inquisitor game, or was that another party that did that?
No, it was Games Workshop.
Yeah, I thought the Teeth Man said that it was Games Workshop.
Okay. Yeah.
And obviously, as people who attack things, they have to have a homeworld in galactic geography.
Fuck. You're getting so good at your segues. It's becoming.
It just sounded like a stroke. Yeah. The precise location of the Viskeon homeworld is unknown, hidden in the uncharted void beyond the Imperium's eastern fringe, or perhaps within the Halo stars, where everything is, by the way. All Viskeon contact has occurred far from any identified base of operations, and their ships arrive without clear navigational trail, suggesting they may use warp routes, unfamiliar or inaccessible to the Imperium. Some scholars theorize that their domain lies within a dense star cluster or nebula, difficult to enter or survey. Others believe they are a nomadic race with no fixed home, existing solely aboard vast fleet vessels. Their elusive movements and apparent strategic depth indicate they possess either a concealed empire or a hub world protected by advanced stealth technologies. The mystery of their origins makes strategic counteraction difficult. Their territory, if any exists, has never been confirmed by an exploration fleet or force. This geographic uncertainty contributes heavily to the Imperium's caution regarding future encounters.
Yeah.
It's so cool how we know nothing about them. That sounds sarcastic, but I genuinely love it.
Yeah.
But you have these characters, they're a huge threat, and we know nothing about it. That's way scarier than knowing that they draw dicks out of radiation on your planet.
Yeah, those guys are crazy.
That's rad.
Yeah, for sure. Oh man, I had something, but you got me thinking about the radiation dicks
I'm
again.
sorry. The radiation cloacas. Didn't we decide the reptilian? Yeah, the reptilian. Yeah, so they have cloacas.
Yeah.
Hey, that's unconfirmed. Stop peeking at my medical record.
Confirm it live.
Oh.
Okay, so here's maybe a question. I like about 40K the vastness of it. I always say there's always another area to explore, and there's so many unknowns still. How fleshed out is or how many dark corners, unexplored corners are there in Star Wars or other big franchises? Does that kind of make sense, that question?
Yeah, I feel like we really don't get to see that anywhere. When Star Wars had their expanded lore that Disney got rid of, which was an amazing decision, by the way. I fully support it.
I will go find you and I'm going to kill you.
Yeah. Christian, this guy wasn't even alive during 9/11, so anything he says it's irrelevant.
Everything I say is extremely relevant. Just because I wasn't alive during 9/11 doesn't mean I didn't help contribute. I didn't help contribute.
The CIA once again.
He wasn't even alive then. Once again.
I would never do anything close to 9/11. That's awful. Yeah.
No, you would do that kind of stuff far away from home.
Yeah, or in a Minecraft server or something. Not in real life. I would never.
Okay.
But
so your cultures and belief are Jewish, right? But the Viskeons is almost entirely unknown.
Oh, you didn't even get your question answered about the dark corner.
But that segue was just so good. I had to stop you.
Yeah, you're right. I guess. But we have the Star Wars guy right here.
With 40K, they leave so many of these hooks. Do you see so many hooks and intentionally unexplored things in these other universes?
Star Wars used to have some, but since the new canon Annihilation, not so much. Although Star Wars has the opposite problem where they have backstories for every single character you've ever seen.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah.
I remember reading an entire Wikipedia page about some random dude who was on a loading dock.
Yeah, no, it's which is what I love about that universe.
Yeah, so it takes it to even the next level than that one.
I feel
absolutely everything. Okay.
You have to have that in between where it's either A, you know nothing and you get to come up with all your lore, or B, you're not allowed to know anything because if you do, that's copyright infringement.
Even if you make it up.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Nice. All right, cool. I guess that answers it, I suppose.
Yeah.
The culture of the Viskeons is almost entirely unknown, with no ambassadors, communicators, or recovered text to provide insight into their worldview. Their behavior during the Viskeon War hints at a collective or caste-based society, unified by a common cause and driven by a shared instinct or ideology. Some inquisitors suspect a biological reinforced hierarchy, possibly akin to the hive mind or cybernetic control matrix. Kind of like the Vespid, I suppose, or a different thing, but similar. The silence with which they wage war, the lack of mercy or negotiation, and that their surgical strike tactics imply a culture of calculated efficiency, possibly one that sees all outsiders as threats or resources. Others theorize they are post-organic or evolved to the point where individual identities is meaningless. Yeah, that's a fun thought to go down in a second. Without further contact or captured artifacts, their beliefs remain speculation. But what is certain is their hostility toward the Imperium and their complete disinterest or in diplomacy or conventional conquest. Yeah, that's a fun thought of, there are definitely hints of them being biologically created. And what if the race all kind of got to the point where they could upgrade their bodies, through DNA, kind of like Splicer. What are these programs that they're doing where they mess around with your genetic code and they can make you taller now? They can give you certain eye colors, all that. So what happens when you can modify to the perfect height, the perfect body mass, all that? You all start to kind of look the same.
Yeah, or you make the perfect warriors just to like constantly expand outwards. You make the people who don't need anything more than the bare minimum Roman kind of like structure. And you also make all of their penises 8-inch biggest.
That's for something else, not war related. But
you're right. They are also arachnids and or something like that. So probably also do insects have penises? Sorry, unrelated.
But a valid question, and like I know I have a child who might ask me that.
The fruit fly has the longest sperm cell. I think it's like 100 centimeters.
Nice. And that was a discovery by Boba Jack.
Never had to
wrap it up in like a ball, like one of those yarn balls. Sorry, yeah.
I've never had to think about it ever, but now
you're welcome.
Curious minds want to know.
Yeah,
Google it. Minds want to know. Google it. Google it.
Yeah, people.
We have the technology.
Only people who subscribe to the Patreon get to know this information.
Well, you'll save it for that. All right. And with that, let's get into technology then. Viskeon technology is sleek, advanced, and wholly alien in design. Their ships are long, needle-like constructs, like dicks, that bristle with unknown energy weaponry and move in formations resembling organic swarms. During the Viskeon War, their vessels employed energy-based projectiles capable of bypassing conventional shielding, and some utilized cloaking systems that rendered them invisible until moments before engagement. Infantry encountered on the ground bore weapons that discharged searing greenish beams and munitions that dissolved armor at the molecular level. Their technology aesthetic is smooth and symmetrical, often appearing grown rather than manufactured, leading some to speculate that it is partially bioengineered. Whether their tech is fueled by warp plasma or something entirely foreign is unknown. The lack of recoverable wreckage or artifacts suggests either self-destruction protocols or field recycling systems that leave little for Imperial forces to study. In terms of raw capability, their technology is considered a match for most non-Eldar Xenos powers.
Cool. I really like their kind of ships, and just these needle dicks flying around, but like the way they move is so like a flock of birds,
Yeah, I like they do this thing where they just kind of make all aspects of themselves biological, but not in a like in a like gore way where they're like doing some horrible things, like the dogs, the dog. I'm blanking every name that we've ever said ever.
Yeah.
But they do it in like an actual like evolutionary biological way where it's not they force it as much as they just understand it.
Yeah. I'm just looking at pictures, and I don't know how you'd really have to join the Patreon or just go on YouTube. You can find videos probably to look at this model I pulled up, and it's leaning way more into the Predator vibe, and it almost looks more how they describe them, almost like, I don't know. It looks very cool. It's different than how they've done it, but yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, because the models that we normally see, at least on plates or like anything like that, they seem really muscly, and it doesn't seem like they would possibly have like fluid motion.
Yeah, like they don't seem like the stealthy. They look more like brutes. You know?
Yeah,
Like,
they have the orc hunch and everything.
yeah.
But then you got the spindly little ones, and that's literally what we read word for word, what I read at least. But on the topic of how strong and powerful and cute they are, military. The Viskeon military operates with ruthless precision and overwhelming coordination. Their forces favor surprise assaults, rapid deployment, and overwhelming firepower, using their technological advances to unbalance and isolate enemy targets. On the ground, Viskeon units move in perfect unison, employing flanking tactics and coordinating strikes with a level of cohesion that suggests either advanced command systems or hive intelligence. Their troops are equipped with high-efficiency energy weapons and armor that refracts incoming fire, making direct engagement costly. In space, their needle-dick ships rely on speed and stealth, striking from hidden positions and withdrawing before Imperial retaliation can be organized. Rather than occupying worlds, they devastate them, suggesting objectives beyond mere territorial gain, possibly resource acquisition, genetic harvesting, or extermination. Their reluctance to engage in prolonged warfare hints at a doctrine built on surgical raids and strict risk assessment, making them a difficult opponent for conventional Imperial strategies to counter.
Yeah, that's fun. Like, so they like war and they're good at it. It's not like the orcs necessarily where they like war, but they're not always good at it, you know?
Yeah.
These guys they have all their strategies and they know how to fucking ambush you and wipe you out.
Yeah, plus the fact the fact that they could still be attacking the Imperium to this day, they just figured out their response time and how long they heard like reactions and just decided to go through kind of more like a framing of other xenos of some way. Like they could just be consistently attacking forever.
Yeah. I found one other sweet piece of artwork here that looks very old. I'm not sure if it's official, but it looks official from like John Blanche style of the Viskeon.
Yeah.
And you can kind of see this one has more of that almost like predator tentacle hair.
The dreads
And like some horns and stuff. But once again, he looks brutal, not like a stealth guy. Like he looks more a brawler.
Do you think that artwork is actually by Blanche? It's definitely in his style for sure, but just wondering on the level of, I don't know, canonicity.
Yeah. You know, I feel like I normally do see John Blanche's name on his artwork, and I don't see that on this one.
But it could just be cropped out. Like it might be at the bottom or zoomed in.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have to guess. Yeah.
I mean, they could be stealthy and strategic while still at that size. It's just like maybe they wanted both. Maybe they had, like, if John Blanche did design that, maybe they had this whole idea of what they wanted, and then they were just like, yeah, we can't really do both, and it's not going to make any sense if we try, so let's just sit on it for a minute and come up with it later.
Yeah. Well, and even too, it almost is, I'm looking through this Reddit post and putting another piece of the puzzle together. It almost looks like they've showed up somewhere else and almost got a different description. Because we described them a little bit as like these spider creatures or something. And it doesn't quite line up. But that's the way they describe them. So maybe there's like this transition where they got more fleshed out, or like, I don't know, man.
Maybe they have a primary, like a mainly female fighting force, because that the main model that we see seems like a female, and they also have a strike force of male fighters, which is the
Nice.
big guys that we see.
The females have the tentacles off their head. I like it.
Oh, so the females are the ones that breed.
The female penis, of course. Yes.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, first off, hyenas. And secondly, the tentacle is the penis. As
Sir,
we've
And
seen,
third, Obi Jack's penis. 3 examples of
octopi throw their penises at the females, which is what I will be doing to Christian later.
Third, you have a lot of dick facts there, Obi Jack. It
A lot
always
of
makes
dick
me
facts.
wonder.
Whenever I'm on a podcast, I have like flashcards for the penises,
Yeah.
drawings, names, sperm lore.
Oh man. Yeah, that Predator model was fucking sweet.
Yeah, it looked actually insane. Like, did somebody just design that, or was that actual GW? Like,
There's no way that was
Model.
GW.
No, that was just like I scrolled through that post. People could go and look at it. It had a step-by-step of what bits they used. They used some croup bits and some occultist hand and a whole bunch of different random
yeah,
bits.
they just handed it together.
They stuck it together somehow for sure.
Just-
Possibly. I don't know, man. I don't know the guy
What I
or
use
girl.
for my models.
God. Galactic relations instead of Bobby's relations to his models. The Viskeons appear to operate in near total isolation with no confirmed diplomatic relations or alliances. They have not been observed cooperating with other Xenos factions, including the Tau, who typically seek to integrate nearby species into their empire. Their only recorded interaction with the Imperium has been one of violent conflict, and they have shown no interest in negotiation or surrender. Whether this isolation is born from arrogance, xenophobia, or radically different systems of value is unclear. Inquisitorial scholars speculate that they may view all other species as inferior or incompatible with their way of life. Their technological and biological distinctiveness also suggests that they are a relatively ancient race, potentially one that has survived a millennia in deep space. Until more is learned, the Viskeons remain a wild card in the galaxy, neither part of any major Xenos alliance nor fully comprehended by the Imperium or its enemies. Yeah.
Big fan of them. They're
We
cool.
kind of have 3 off the top of my head different Predator knockoffs. We have these guys that are a great kind of Predator knockoff. The Rat Ghoul are very similar in their culture and the way they operate. Not so much their appearance. They're more like centoid lizards, but we also have. Are you?
I've seen Christian blink sideways. Can't edit that, Christian. You blink sideways. I know it.
I've seen it on the live stream.
I've seen it live, and you flick your lizard tongue.
Wet it on the Wikipedia. I'm trying to remember the last one. That was kind of like the really Predator-like, and maybe the chat can help me out.
Yeah, I'm really not remembering the name.
Yeah,
Is it the guys
But
that
they-
can grow really big?
maybe.
But I thought that was the Rat Ghoul.
No, the. I got all the names pulled up here. The Thraxis. I think those were the ones that could grow big. Anyways, yeah, but which one do you guys kind of like? Maybe since we don't know that third one, it's not a good example. But between these and the Rat Ghoul, these guys are definitely way more Predator-like knockoff.
Yeah, 100% more Predator-like. But I feel like the Rat Ghoul being more fleshed out, and at least, like, I guess they're both equally completely not understandable. Because on one end, we have like the Rat Ghoul who have more lore and we don't know anything about them, and we have these guys who have less lore and we still don't know anything about them. And like, I feel like that's what makes both of them the more perfect predators.
Yeah,
like they're equal in their own ways.
The first thing about your enemy you should know is everything about them. So if you know nothing about your enemy, you're gonna not be very good, I guess.
Yeah.
Or something.
And they
I read that in Art of War. Yeah.
That one guy said it. I don't remember
Yeah.
his name. He Arts Worley, I guess.
Hearts Warley.
Yeah. That's what he wrote about.
Oh man. Representation on tabletop. Yeah, they definitely could be in RPGs, as mentioned. That's kind of where they're known from and come from. Kill Team, definitely, where you get just like a small squad of hunters. You could go full tabletop, but then you're starting to get into like, okay, how do you fill up that many models? And like,
Yeah.
they
Or
don't
even
seem to have
like they have 5 things.
they don't seem to have a lot. Like or maybe they just aren't described yet. But like, yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I dug up their stat line from the Inquisitor game.
Cool.
So with a little grain of salt here, like their weapon skill seems relatively high. I don't know I don't know what to compare this to. I was trying to look for like a baseline human or space marine stat.
If you read them off to me, I will roughly know because it's based off of D100, so they've done something.
Yeah, so their weapon skill is 79, and it seems to have a bonus when he fights at night. Now, keep in mind also the stat line could be just this individual. It might not be reflective of the whole species, but anyways, 79 weapon skill, ballistic skill 11, so pretty low. Strength 81, toughness 73, initiative 70, WP, not sure what that is, 56, SG,
Willpower, maybe.
Yeah, could be.
Hmm.
SG 68, Envy 93, and leadership 23. So pretty low leadership.
Yeah. I think the big ones were that weapon skill, strength, and toughness. Those were all very high, it seems.
Yeah, but really low ballistic skill.
Yeah.
And then he gets demodifiers by noon, and he gets bonuses at midnight. So it seems to reflect a nocturnal type hunter.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, like once again, his profile is kind of more of that big, brutish kind of, not the stealth, but that's kind of cool too when a big guy like that sneaks up on you. Just imagine Arnold Schwarzenegger sneaking up on you in the middle of the night.
Yeah, covered in mud, and you can't see him due to your eyes that only see in thermal. Yeah.
It's the Predator movie told from the other side. He's just an innocent predator out hunting, and then he gets stalked by a human.
Yeah, that'd be rad. They shoot at him with guns, and he gets really upset about it because he's in Vietnam for some reason. Also, I looked it up, and WP stands for worker placement.
Yeah, I'm sure that's
Yeah.
Thanks, Bubba Jack here.
Yeah, no problem.
Here to help.
Here to help.
Yeah, but that's all I could find. I have no idea what it means.
Cool. Well, cool guys for sure.
Yeah, very, very, very predator, but in the good way, not the
other ways.
Yeah.
Not the way Bubba Jack is.
Only for Christian and Gerald. And a series of other men that host this podcast.
Yeah.
But Uvoth. That was a segue. I said the name.
No, but you are right. It was in fact a segue.
Yeah.
Carry on, my child.
Thank you. The Uvoth are an ancient and malevolent xenos race that once ruled over a vast empire within the Calixis Expanse before the rise of the Imperium. Known for their mastery of warp-tainted sorcery and horrific technologies, they enslaved countless lesser species and built vast fortress worlds powered by the suffering of the damned. The Uvoth were not simply conquerors. They were hedonistic sadists, pursuing dark perfection through warp manipulation and body modification. Their empire was a bastion of heresy and corruption, drawing the ire of the early Imperium. Eventually, they were exterminated by the Angevin Crusade in the late 37th millennium. Though their race is believed to be extinct, remnants of their influence, such as cursed relics, ancient constructs, and warp-touched ruins, still populate the stars, posing serious risks to explorers and inquisitors. The Yuvoth remain a symbol of what unchecked warp corruption and xenos power can lead to: madness, damnation, and extermination. I think that they are just Dark Eldar ripoffs that they wanted to kill Dark Eldar.
Yeah, they sound like that, but no, they go very interesting with the way they use technology. You know, I will
Okay.
leave you with a mystery, which is very different than what the Dark Eldar do. And we'll get there eventually, but yeah, it's neat what they get up to.
But they also have a sex cult, right?
I wasn't invited if they do.
Do they have?
But
I'm just curious if they also have the double anal fister that automatically moves and
I really don't know. DW is sparse on a lot of details, and I'm quite mad about it. I am.
Yeah.
I want to know these things, Boba Jack. I really do, but I don't know.
I guess we all do. Such as the cloaca identity of
I
the
guess we
fractal.
all do. Yeah.
I'm more concerned that Boba said also have a double fisting machine. What do you mean also have?
Do you not? That comes standard issue in your house.
Oh my god.
Everyone
It-
has
it-
one.
I got it from my dad. Didn't your dad give you one?
It came free with your Xbox.
God damn.
Is that what you use your remotes for? Don't touch anything in his house. That's all I'm
Yeah.
gonna
Touch
say.
everything in my house. You won't get any kind of.
I
this
personally
is-
don't even think he has a house. I think he lives with his parents, but
No, remember that roommate that walked in on my first episode. There you go. Checkmate.
Could have been your hot mom. I don't know, man.
Respectfully.
Respectfully, no. Appearance and biology of the Yuvoth, though. The true physical appearance of the Yuvoth is largely lost to time, obscured by their own rampant use of warp-infused body modification and concealment. So we start getting this little tease already, like where the Dark Eldar don't use any warp, these guys go hard with warp stuff. What is known suggests that they were not content with static biology. They reshaped their forms through forbidden sciences and sorcery, fusing organic matter with warp energies and unnatural constructs. Reports from archaeotech ruins and tainted constructs hint at a grotesque form, possibly multi-limbed, insectile, or humanoid, with crystalline growths and embedded machinery pulsing with warp power. These changes were likely both functional and aesthetic, serving to display status and instill terror. The Yuvoth view the flesh as a tool to be improved upon and transcended entirely, abandoning natural biological evolution in favor of sorcerer's perfection. As such, the creatures encountered in their ruins today are often twisted amalgams, part machine, part flesh, and wholly corrupted, making it nearly impossible to discern their original physiology or whether any pure form ever existed. And then we got a quote from Severin Prime. If it does not rot, if it cannot lie like this here forever, is it truly dead? I guess that's him looking at one of these weird warp creatures. I forgot to pull up some pictures here, but I'll do that right now so we can get a couple better images.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah, because we can never truly know, because they're filthy warp xenos, which is like slightly worse than regular xenos.
Yeah. Oh, I do have a canon update correction. For the Umbra, I actually used the picture of a Yuvoth by accident. They both have these black orbs, but the Yuvoth are kind of slightly different with their black orbs.
Okay.
You can see like the way they do it. It's a little. I think this was the picture I used.
No, you used the one with the dude floating right there.
It was that one, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'll show you a picture of the Umbra just real quick.
There's
Jamie,
too many
pull up
black
the
orb
Umbra.
species and too
Yeah,
many prey, like
Yeah,
species.
that's great. More orbs. Can we get orbs in the chat?
Orbs in the chat. I'll pull it up. Don't worry. I'll get the orbs.
Can we Chat, let's get 150,000 orbs in the chat. When we get to 200,000 orbs, Christian will take his shirt off and show us his
yes, his
pyramid
third nipple.
I forgot about the third nipple. It's under the bottom of his foot. If anybody does want to know where it is, but how it looks.
Stop reading my medical charts, man.
The lust overtakes me.
Oh man. Yeah. Okay. Carry on. Oh, fuck.
Well,
Are you sure? Rubs hand on upper inner thigh. So Christian, you come here often.
anyways,
Look at this bone construct though. It's pretty wild. Like the dark energy like controls it. This artwork's neat.
oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Like they just kind of do whatever they want with the orbs.
Speaking of what they can do, let's talk about their powers and abilities.
Yay!
The Uvoth were infamous for their command of warp-based sorcery, surpassing even some human heretic cults in both scale and depth of corruption. They did not merely use psychic powers, they shaped reality with them. Their abilities included the manipulation of demonic energies, the creation of warp constructs, and the design of cursed artifacts that could influence or destroy minds. They practiced necromantic rites and soul-binding techniques, storing consciousness in crystalline matrices or enslaving them to power constructs. In battle, they summoned demons and employed weapons that infused flesh with warp-spawn mutations. Their control over pain and fear extended beyond torture. Their emotions were harnessed to energize their technology and rituals. Some remnants still emit psychic screams millennia after the species' extinction. The Uvoth's power was not merely military, it was metaphysical, existential, a corruption that infected minds, materium, and even the laws of nature. So yeah, that necromantic ability kind of reflected in that picture there, Mark.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I know they're corrupting my mind. I would never know to act like this. I would no. It's so unlike me.
Your mind is corrupted by the internet. Is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
No.
Comes directly into your brain.
Were you an iPad kid?
No.
That happened to you?
I wasn't around when the iPad existed. So, mate, liberal.
Goddamn.
But I did lick paint, a lot of paint, and it was still electric and lots of paint.
Yeah.
Yeah. Paint will do that. I do have a history of licking paint. And the Uvoth also have a very interesting history. Boom! Boom! 2 booms! Such as on September... Sorry. Anyway.
Yeah. Holy fuck.
That was the last 9/11 joke. I just didn't want anybody to forget because we should never forget what happened on September 11th.
You weren't even alive then. You don't know anything about
I
nothing.
should remember it was a horrible time for many people in America. And also they made us watch the people jumping out of the building in like 5th grade. Like I feel like, that's close enough.
Close enough. You're traumatized.
2003.
Okay. He missed. Oh my gosh, he missed it, but he's still going to be here for World War III. So don't worry.
Yeah.
And he'll still be in the Middle East, so that'll be neat too.
Yeah.
Slightly different country.
Born too late to deploy to the Middle East. Born too early to deploy into the Middle East. Born just in time to deploy to the Middle East.
To the Middle East. Yes. This guy gets it. Bob was born after 2000. That's right, America. I am 21 years old, legally allowed to drink.
Yeah.
Not legally allowed to be alone, however. I cannot be trusted. I'm actually not allowed to have internet access either, but the Uvoth rose to prominence in the Calixtus Expanse millennia before the Imperium's arrival, forging a dark empire built on sorcery, slavery, and unspeakable rituals. They dominated many xenos species and shaped entire worlds into living altars to their perverse ambitions. At their height, their influence corrupted both the warp and real space, creating zones of deep instability and horror. During the Angevin Crusade in the 37th millennia, Imperial forces led by Saint Drusus launched a campaign of extermination against the Yuvoth. Their strongholds, massive fortress worlds protected by sorcery and daemons, required immense effort to conquer. One of the most notorious battles was fought at Foulstone, a key center of their dark power. By the Crusades' end, the Yuvoth were declared extinct, though their lingering presence in the form of relics, constructs, and corrupted sites suggests that they may have left behind remnants or even hidden sleeper entities. Their extinction was not erasure, but dominance, or dormancy. In a quote from Saint Darius himself, from the moment of their first defeat, their will for battle was overcome. When the xenos wretches faced their betters, they knew that their warp-tainted souls would soon face damnation.
That's pretty good. I'm impressed.
Yeah, thank you. You missed my best voice acting on the last episode I was on, though. I had a really good one right at the start of the episode. I got airlocked. It was rad.
Yeah. The Yuvoth are pretty wild. Like they're this ancient kind of destroyed race. We don't know much about them. And I kind of picture like a random archaeologist just digging on his planet, and he comes across a Yuvoth relic that just slowly starts like corrupt him. Then it corrupts the next step, and then all of a sudden this whole planet's like corrupted under warp taint and stuff. Yeah, just like these relics are just so dangerous to hold. Going a little deeper into their history, there's actually some distinct eras. I'm just counting. There's 2 distinct eras. Crusades Triumph, and then the ruins of the Empire. So kind of their origins a little bit maybe, and what happened to them. So it remains unclear how many Yuvoth were active in the region during the Angevin Crusade, but they had reached a high level of decadence, ruling vast numbers of enslaved species from blasphemous towers. Each Yuvoth may have commanded over 1 million slaves, with entire worlds devoted to satisfying their perverse whims, often involving warped-based corruption on planetary scale. Reports on their physiology and psychology are fragmentary, partly lost to the inquisitorial purges and time. No records confirm any Yuvoth captured alive, and surviving autopsies are inconsistent, suggesting sufficient morphological variants, likely due to warp influence and body modifications. The Yuvoth were probably not humanoid in form, though this is uncertain. Some Order of Xenos members suspect the Yuvoth culture was already in decline before humans arrived, potentially unable to sustain their empire despite their many slaves. There is speculation that many client species might be engineered descendants of the Yuvoth, including a vast original population spread across the Kronos expanse. However, the relatively small opposing forces during the Crusade hint at a massive Yuvoth civilization might still exist beyond known space, possibly within the warp's demonic realms. Ruins across the expanse, most broken cities made of stone, crystal, and bone-like ceramics, coated with polyamic layers, reflect the Yuvoth's architectural style. Many structures bear complex geometric and arcane glyphs, some capable of self-repair, complicating dating efforts. These glyphs, uneven and asymmetrical, featured on devices and ruins alike, attempts to translate them risk madness. Preservations varied wildly. Some sites remain habitable, others are buried rubble. Some star systems show signs of Yuvoth presence on only one world. Dating structures is challenging, but geological changes sometimes help date the oldest ruins, while more recent sites remain enigmatic. Like they had a huge empire. They almost like the conspiracy I'm throwing out to you is somehow they're tied into the actual Eldar. That may like their story falls very close along these powerful warps creatures. Then they fall to decadence, and then they kind of go extinct. So maybe this is like almost like part of the Eldar soul that was created, but they all have all these ruins everywhere that are very different than the Eldar. But yeah,
I mean, you
They're
could
also
be gold
their
ones.
their tech also, like the whole necromancy vibes, being able to manipulate warp constructs, just like Wraithbone. Like there's a lot of parallels.
Yeah. It could be the old ones tried with them and it just didn't work the same way or work right. Maybe it was like the fact that they tried to use orbs instead of sexy elves.
Idiots.
Maybe.
Never
Idiots.
replace elves with orbs.
Who could have thunk? But I feel like that would do it.
Yeah. You could even go back further at times with this conspiracy and be like, the Eldar race has had a couple falls, and maybe this was a previous fall millions of years ago as opposed to just 10,000. But once again, that's crazy speculation.
Are you implying that Eldar evolved from orbs?
No.
We
They evolved into orbs, some of them, and others remained as Eldar and then carried on.
Oh,
I
they
mean,
got
we
so into their own heads, their bodies just like folded up into
Yeah.
over time.
Yeah, exactly. They just
like
turned
the flying psyker big brain terminids, the big, what are they called?
the big brain
Zoanthrope?
terminids.
No,
Zoanthrope. So yeah, I'm good at words and names. I remember all of them. Yeah.
yeah, the way their little bodies shrivel up underneath them and they're just brains.
Yeah.
Eldar's bodies just kind of, yeah. Could be.
It's cold out.
Speaking of ruined bodies, let's talk about the ruins of their empire. Some Yuvath ruins still function, though their exact purpose is unknown. While some believe they were ancient mines, others speculate that they might be designed to destroy suns or unravel reality itself. These machines draw power from stars, geothermal sources, or the warp, remaining active long after the creators vanished. Legends warn that some ruins are haunted, relentlessly spreading their dark message or defending their territory with deadly force. Numerous tales describe disasters befalling those who explore these sites. Beyond planets, ancient Yuvath void stations drift on rogue asteroids or float in deep space, even within a warp, continuing to serve their long-dead masters. Intruders risk becoming debris for these hostile constructs. Xenographers debate the ruins' age, complicated by their unusual materials and lack of cultural evolution, despite the vast territory they cover. The technology is consistent across ruins from the Angevin Crusade era. Estimates suggest that Yuvath civilization peaked over 100,000 Terran years ago, possibly remaining stable for ages before its destruction, with even older warp-tainted sites yet to be found.
I love this archaeology vibe, man. I just want to grab a hat and a whip and go find some Yuvath ruins, Get corrupted just a little bit at first.
Yeah. No, it's this is something that we really haven't talked about at all. Normally we just kill them and walk away, but now, the actual fact that we're studying this destroyed race is really cool.
It's almost remorseful. Like, we wanted to be the ones who killed them. Who killed these guys? We wanted to.
Yeah.
There's strong Egyptian archaeology vibes too, like mummy's curse type stuff. Like, you tread in their ancient ruins and you'll get cursed. Bad things will happen.
Plus the weird bone mob creature, that as the big mummy that chases you around the cool pyramid. That also gives you warp cancer. But maybe they have a homeworld where they have galactic geography and study galactic geography. The Yuvath Empire was centered.
Please, it's Geography.
Oh, go. Giga go. Centered within the Calixis Expanse, particularly in regions now known as the Chronos Expanse. Their fortress worlds were not traditional homeworlds, but heavily corrupted planets transformed into nightmarish bastions of warp energy and living pain engines. Planets such as Foulstone and other uncharted worlds served as psychic nexuses and ritual centers. These locations often defied conventional physics, wrapped in warp storms, and haunted by lingering warp echoes. The exact origin world of the Yuvoth is unknown, or deliberately hidden, possibly destroyed in the aftermath of their defeat, or existing within a warp-shrouded void. Their empire spanned hundreds of systems, often in regions where warp travel remains treacherous today. Even now, rogue traders and explorers report mysterious signals, ancient ruins, and cursed relics deep within the expanse. These remnants act like scars upon the galaxy, testaments to a malign power that once ruled with a dark and terrible majesty. The main thing that it really makes me think of is just I had an idea. It's somebody else talk.
Oh, that's the fucking worst. I hate that. I feel so bad for you. Now you feel like an idiot, right? Look at him grab the brain harder.
I feel completely normal. This is always how I feel.
Oh yeah, okay. Sounds like they had a cool empire. I like this concept that their relics are like so powerful and warp infused and dark energy. That it infects like trade routes to this day. Like they're still on harder paths because these relics are just fucking them up.
Like even if you destroyed them, it would probably take thousands of years to clear it up anyways.
And it might even make it worse, that original explosion. Like it might even rock the waves a bit, but very cool.
Yeah,
scattered across the stars.
That I had such a good idea. It's gone. Okay. It's fine. It's whatever. I don't need to think. It's okay.
You don't need it.
It's probably better if you don't.
But also don't run on impulse either. So think enough to not run just solely on impulse.
That was a really good save. I was gonna make another penis joke.
Yeah. See, we reel them in.
Stop
Come here, Boba
right
Jack.
there. Yeah.
Hold on. I just get all flustered when Christian's here. I can't help it.
Culture and beliefs. The Yuvoth culture was founded upon worship and manipulation of warp, pain, and power. They did not revere chaos gods in the conventional sense, interacted with warp entities and harnessed demonic forces through complex sorcery and binding rituals. Pain, both inflicted and endured, was central to their beliefs. It was used as fuel for sorcery, a form of currency and means of spiritual transcendence. Their society was likely hierarchical, ruled by the most powerful sorcerers, kings, and pain architects. Rather than traditional religion, they pursued a warped philosophy of transcendence through suffering and transformation, modifying their bodies and minds through arcane sciences. Slavery, torture, and sacrifices were not just tools, but pillars in their civilization. Their culture was deeply alien, operating on principles antithetical to human morality, and any encounter with Yuvoth's relic often results in madness, mutation, or worse. Their legacy is philosophical cancer that refuses to die. Yeah, basically, man, they've been dealing with the warp, and while they don't worship any specific gods, the warp is just bad energy, man. It's just not good to touch.
Yeah, bad juju.
Yeah.
Messes with your chakras.
Oh.
And it sends cool mummies get sent after you in the Egypt.
Yeah.
Space Egypt. Another
Space Egypt. Mr. President, there's been a second. No. All right.
Man, the flashbacks this guy is causing to people. Just
so bad.
All right, let's get into technology. There is a corrupt. Actually, I should get Boba to read this. Read this, Boba. Read it.
Says send the autistic in to do the voices, huh? Do your little dance. Do your dance, my man.
You want to get paid or not?
Wait, can I use the soundboard and see if that works, or no? Is that an awful idea?
It's a terrible idea to do live.
Yeah, terrible.
You're right. That's why it'd be funny.
There is corruption, corrupt logic present within these artifacts. But to understand it would be to risk corruption of the soul and the mind. The machine god has no tolerance for such blasphemies.
I don't know. I was trying to do a robot a little bit, but I couldn't.
No,
But-
yeah, I liked it. Stern. I feel like I should listen to him.
I wanted to do a German tinge, and then I was like, no, and then yeah.
Wow. For those listening, the quote was from Magos Mortigen Hale, disciple of Thule. Yeah, it's kind of you could have done a German tech priest.
Yeah. Yeah. As we know, they love Germany for no reason.
Okay. Anyways, the Uvoth technology was an inseparable blend of arcane science and warp sorcery. Their constructs were often self-aware, warp-infused machines powered by bound souls or demon essence. They developed crystalline data matrices, soul forges, and pain-reactive machinery that defies Adeptus Mechanicus understanding. Their ships and weapons are often alive in some sense, infused with intelligence, suffering, or malicious intent. Some of their most terrifying devices include warp portals, temporal distortion engines, and weapons that fracture reality itself. Unlike most civilizations, the Uvoth did not draw a line between science and magic. Their technologies bled into the ritual. Artifacts left behind continued to warp space and minds, making them highly sought after by heretics and feared by the Inquisition. Their mastery of soul manipulation allowed them to store intelligence within devices, creating constructs that may still operate today. Even shattered, their relics are dangerous, sometimes capable of reassembling or infecting nearby systems with warp taint. Man, that's so cool. That's like the idea of binding souls to machines. Like, I know we get it from like the Soul Forge side of warp entities, but to have a species that's able to like just grab someone's soul and shove it into a machine, and the machine can now live and feel. Pretty cool. And
Yeah.
body horror.
How
I'm
often?
telling you, there.
I was gonna say, how often do you think they just did that to fuck with the soldiers that were attacking them? Just
Yeah,
like
it's crazy that they do that to other people. Like, this is like a non-consensual thing they can just do to people.
yeah,
Pretty
but
easily.
like you're some random soldier and you're charging a machine gun line, and then suddenly the machine gun shoots you, and then now you're in the machine gun and shooting your friend.
Just spitting
You're
out
like-
bullets.
When you scream and cry, like that's what actually triggers the bullets to fly out. The more you scream, the more bullets come out, and
Oh,
cycle of psychotic violence. Yes.
Good writing. Good writing.
Yeah.
Man, stuff like that would really be artifact of doom.
Well, we're getting into some technologies. They actually have a couple cool technologies. Most of them are, yeah. Not
Yeah.
good.
No, especially wait. Sorry, that threw me off because I thought you were doing like the first one. My bad. Okay. Artifacts of Doom. Many Uvoth artifacts interact directly with the warp, relying on it as a power source and sometimes using it as a conduit for their core functions. While some devices are benign, able to detect warp disturbances, others are deeply dangerous, releasing chaotic energies, luring warp entities, or even opening portals into the Imperium. Many of these items activate simply by being near a sentient being, subtly influencing or corrupting their minds just by approach. A signature heresy of Uvoth technology is its use of synthetic spirits, malevolent intelligences, possibly drawn from the warp or constructed through unknown means. Unlike Imperial machine spirits, these entities are twisted, manipulative, and can exert control over the user, often pushing them toward damnation or destruction. The devices are known to bond with users, override their minds, or consume their souls entirely, turning people into living extensions of ancient xenos will. These dangers are particularly catastrophic aboard void ships. In many cases, the artifacts pierce the Geller field, exposing vessels to demonic intrusion. Rogue traders who smuggle such xenotech, known as the cold trade, are frequently lost in the warp or found adrift, crews slaughtered or insane. Even trained tech priests can be overwhelmed. For the uninitiated, these artifacts are death traps, masquerading as miracles. Despite the risk, the rewards are legendary. Some Yuvoth devices supposedly provide limitless energy, mind control, or the power to extinguish stars. Tales speak of ancient ship components that allow for near-instant warp transit, unbreachable shields, and weapons capable of cleaving capital ships apart. But always, these miracles exact a terrible toll. Crew madness, demonic possession, or worse. When Imperial tech fails, it may kill. When Yuvoth tech fails, it damns. Some artifacts graft themselves onto the users like cybernetic implants, often replacing organs or limbs without consent. Astropathic reports suggest the device also fuses minds and souls, with many users perishing instantly. Others survive as altered beings driven by ancient reprogramming. In rare cases, handheld items grow over time, replacing the entire body with an exoskeletal shell as the artifact takes full control. Interestingly, certain artifacts replicate themselves. Devices have been observed growing replacements or duplicating tools frequently used, suggesting a form of intelligent self-manufacturing. Some scholars speculate that this was an intentional Yuvoth design. However, duplicate artifacts are rarely found, possibly due to the reabsorption into the original device or failure to withstand time. Though the Imperium has purged many of these items, the Order Xenos admits that much of the Yuvoth xenotech remains a mystery. The few specimens studied are often destroyed due to the dangers they possess. Each artifact is a lingering echo of a long-dead empire, one with that twisted warp energy, soul manipulation, and technology into horrifying unity.
Man, their tech's so wild. It just seems like anything's possible with it, for sure, first of all. And I guess it makes sense. Like when you have the warp infused with reality, everything does become possible. It's like constantly you have this invisible walking robot machine or whatever kind of psychic ability cast on thing that's kind of just a passive ability now. You've kind of just passive ability warp powers on objects.
Yeah. Honestly, it makes me think, like, what if we didn't kill the Yuvoth, but the Yuvoth just eventually, due to their machines, were just thrown into the warp and lost completely?
Yeah. They could have killed themselves just as easy. Like, yeah, all their machines overthrew them, all those things for sure.
It's actually a meta commentary on nuclear war and how it can destroy its own species.
For people who aren't watching the stream, he did also push his glasses up in the middle brim with his ring finger.
Yes.
Putrid creature.
Yeah.
Why can't you be despawned by the warp?
Yeah, one day he might. You too, though. Hopefully.
I will never leave. I am the curse. Welcome to damnation.
Ties to the warp. This is the next little bit about Yuvoth technology, and you've kind of heard it, but I'll kind of really repeat it. Some Yuvoth artifacts emit raw warp energy openly, radiating arcs of corrupted light that disrupt both vision and sanity. This baleful glow twists perception. Some see decay in everything it touches, while others become obsessed with the power it represents. Merely witnessing these energies can scar the soul. A rare and more terrifying trait is found in artifacts that are independently mobile, hunting across the worlds to feed their minds and souls. These sentient horrors, powered by the warp and bound in arcane technology, are nearly unstoppable. Few who face them survive, and none forget the sight, haunted forever by a power no mortal should witness. So, nuclear power has radiation, and that's kind of its downside. UVOth technology, since it's kind of like this warp-infused warp power, it creates this baleful glow type thing that just rots everything around it.
Okay.
Much like radiation, but to the 11th.
Yeah, but I mean, at least, I mean, maybe you can make depleted warp energy into armor and bullets and shells like the American government did.
Oh, they do make all types of dark energy constructs, unlike the American government.
Yeah, we make light energy constructs such as the F-22 Raptor.
No, you make red, white, and blue energy constructs.
Yeah, freedom constructs. Known as
Freedom.
constructs.
Powered by pure liberty.
My,
Pure
my
refined
guardsman
liberty.
lore. My guardsman lore. I wrote lore. They have eagle energy. They use eagles.
Z goes all the way down.
They call them the Americanas.
All right. Let's get into those dark energy constructs. Of great danger to the Imperium are the UVOth dark energy constructs. These are forgotten weapons of ancient war that raged across the Coronis expanse during the time of Saint Dressus and the Angevin Crusade. Of these, the Whisperer is the most powerful and alien battleship, shaped from warp energy and dark technology. However, there are others scattered across the system. These include the Dark Lament, a complex warp energy web that the UVOth would lay over ground or structures to turn the very environment against their attackers, and the Void Wasps, UVOth interceptors.
I genuinely, it's really cool that they have like their own ships. 'Cause especially for orbs, I'm so used to the other orbs that are just like floating through space and like suddenly being upon your ship and killing all of you for no reason. Like at least these guys, they have their own vessels and their own kind of weird society that they do things in.
Yeah. Not just black holes, essentially. Yeah.
Yeah, and the mist.
So we got some cool now examples of different dark energy constructs. The first one is the resonance.
The resonance is a UVOth creation, more warp sorcery than machine, embedded deep within the world of Skintalia in the Xenos ruin known as Designate 22818. This structure was used by the UVOth to forge hell worlds, regions steeped in warp energy, fueled by human sacrifice and psyker torment. Though dormant and undetectable by common Imperial tech, the resonance seeps into the rock and mines below. It slowly manipulates thought, subtly corrupting Hive City residents by implanting hallucinations and false memories. Victims believe they act of their own free will, but their decisions are warped by unseen influence. As behavior grows stranger, so do the hallucinations. Talking to others can snap victims out of their illusions, but they never realize their choices were not their own. This insidious legacy of the UVOth continues to haunt Scintilia's depths, a psychic echo of a long-dead empire's cruelty. They have the equivalent of big speakers that just make you insane. They just give you schizophrenia.
Yeah, crank that dark energy bass. Wow.
Yeah.
Note. You got the dark energy note.
And they make you shitting yourself feel like it's your own idea. Very rad. Very cool. Also, remember that idea that I had way back that I couldn't remember?
Yeah. Well, I don't know because you didn't remember it to tell me.
Yeah.
I remember.
I was thinking like the same way that the Word Bearers world was sent into the warp and just kind of gone. The UVOth could have had the same kind of thing with their homeworld, where it just somewhere in the warp they're all building their power. They're gonna come back. They got some cool brown note machines.
No, dark energy notes. Come on.
Oh right, dark energy notes. and you're gonna shit yourself. It's gonna be great.
That will happen, yeah.
And they would probably call it something like the Crown of Wonders, but
But that's just a random name, probably.
yeah, random name. I've never heard of that anywhere.
But if such an object did exist, it'd probably be like a crown set upon ancient mummies. And they're black circles, flexible material steeped in psi power and ornamented with curling projections on the outer surface. They are a radical inquisitor's prize, a curse, as they slowly twist a psyker's mind. Wonders of the Uvoth bubble up within the mind. Wise angelic beings that guide humanity to rightful adulation of the ruinous powers and joyous depravity. The lies begin as a whisper, then they grow to a blasphemous torment. Soon, the psyker cannot distinguish the visions from their own beliefs. Nice, just like a crown of madness. They call it wonders, but it drives you mad. You put it on, you slowly go. Everything's good for you. Like you think everything's good. People could be chopping your arms off. You're like, yes. Like,
but you gotta wonder why
it's
it's so cool and good for you, and it's a crown of wonder. Why?
You gotta wonder why.
You know what's not so wondrous as a crown are shard spiders.
Not to be confused.
That's what I do. Yeah. Oh. Okay. Because that's what I do when I'm sick. I shard spiders.
Yeah.
All right. Another construct of the Uvoth. These deadly little creatures are fashioned from bruised purple crystal and are about the size of a large dog. With 12 legs and tiny central body, they scuttle about with alarming speed. They also have a set of needle-like mandibles, which they can alternatively use to mend broken crystal or plunge into an unwary human's soft flesh.
Neat. I like it. 12 legs are better than 8, I suppose.
I was going to say, it's not really a spider, but what do I know? I'm not an insectologist.
Yeah, you need definitions and words to describe spiders, pal. Okay. It's a spider nonetheless. It crawls around. It gets in your skin. It's under your skin like all spiders are. Like always. All spiders are under your skin. They're under your skin. Yeah.
I've been playing this one game a little bit, and they have an arachnophobia toggle for those bitches that are afraid to play a video game spiders. I guess it's a thing. They need to be able to toggle them off.
What game is that?
Enshrouded.
Really?
I've seen it on a couple games. Yeah, it's usually on like dungeon crawler games. I find where they have an arachnophobia spider. So when you fight spiders in the very first cave or whatever, if you don't want to, yeah, you fight like a rat or something.
Okay. Yeah, Lethal Company has it too, and they just become the big word of spider.
Do they really?
Yeah, they just become spider. Yeah.
Fuck.
Spider. No, I had a friend who literally couldn't play Metro, like the last part of Metro, because they had the spiders come out. Couldn't play it because he's a coward.
So he's his own bone warden because he's not getting laid on that.
Yeah. Wait, would a bone warden be getting laid? I don't know, but let's talk about the burn ward. The Bone Warden is a dark energy construct created by the Uvoth to guard void crypts and solar fortresses. Lacking a true form, it animates masses of corpses bound by crackling black warp energy, forming a swirling cloud of clawing limbs and burning flesh. To destroy it, one must break its physical body and shatter its warp field. But its warp shard crown draws in new matter to regenerate itself. Thus, Bone Wardens are often found in its heaps of the dead, prepared to rebuild and resume their eternal watch, even millennia after the Uvoth themselves have vanished into myth.
Cool. Yeah, so that's definitely that picture I kind of have pulled up that we've been describing. A mummy-like Bone Warden. Very cool.
It's really cool that they have that same kind of thing that the Necrons have too, that it just persists forever.
Yeah. Do you think if you encounter these guys, you see the black warp energies, or is that like artist's interpretation, or you need specific infrared vision or something like that? You know what I mean? Do you think humans
Yeah,
would
like
see
does
the
it look
black?
just like a floating skeleton to like you?
Yeah,
I
but then
feel
as
like-
soon as you put night goggles on, you're like, whoa, fuck.
Maybe it's warp sensitivity. Just like anybody who's more like you could have somebody who's not sensitive whatsoever, and then somebody who's like even slightly sensitive can see it.
Yeah, exactly. And then you see that swirling, but
Yeah,
Kind of cool. I like
the
that.
more sensitive you are, the more clear. Because I bet psychers can sense them from like miles off.
yeah. Fun thought. Yeah, we'll jump to the fleet next. We get to learn about their crystalline dick ships, the Whisperer.
Dicks.
Dicks for days in the wake of the Angevin Crusade, brutal war with the Uvoth, many of the Xenos techno-warp constructs vanished into the void. One such remnant, the Whisperer, a sentient void ship forged from dark energy, was discovered on a forgotten battlefield by a rogue trader. Unable to safely bring it to the Calexis sector, unwilling to abandon it, the trader hid it beneath the cloud layers of a gas giant in a newly founded Savard system. He vanished before unlocking its secrets, and the Whisperer was forgotten. Centuries later, strange dreams began afflicting the people of Savard. A dark, unseen presence whispered to them in their sleep. As more citizens experienced these visions, unexplained acts of sabotage and violence followed. Seemingly ordinary people across the cast turned against one another, attacking infrastructure and spreading chaos. These afflicted became known as the Whisperers. Whisperers are not mindless fanatics or automations. They are thinking, breathing human, psychically guided by the Whisperer. Retaining their memories and skills. Though they mimic normal behavior, they are eerie soulless beneath their surface, displaying no genuine emotion or moral restraint. They do not worship the Whisperer. Indeed, they may not even consciously know it exists, but serve as its biological extensions. Their purpose is singular: fulfill the will of the Whisperer. The Whisperer's goal is clear. It seeks to restore itself, escape the gas giant's gravity well, and continue its ancient mission of war against the Imperium. For years, it's used its influence to manipulate the weakest minds of the Skard, compelling them to supply it with raw materials and energy. If freed, it would unleash devastation across the Kronos expansion, potentially the Calexis sector. Destruction of the Whisperer is the only known cure for its psychic control. If it's destroyed, the Whisperer may return to normal, or the people, though their place in the Imperial society may be forever tainted. Until then, they remain an invisible army serving an ancient, malevolent construct, and the Skvard system teeters on the edge of annihilation. Let me know. Yeah. So that's pretty cool, that thing. It almost reminds me of the, I think it's called the Dark Knight in orbit of our current Earth. Have you guys heard of it? It's a dark satellite. And it's like this dark shard. Yeah.
They
I
have
can't.
that picture of it. It looks like the Batmobile from like the Dark Knight movie, I thought.
Yeah.
It's super cool.
Yeah.
I've never heard of this before, but I'm Googling it.
Is that the right name? Like, have you?
Black
yeah,
Knight.
Black
Knight.
Knight.
Yeah. But basically, yeah, we're all being afflicted by a Uvoth relic right now, the Black Knight, and our world's going into chaos. Hooray.
Yeah,
There's my
the voices are telling me to do things, and I have been doing what they told me.
Yeah, man. This is cool, man. You become like these like whisperers. You're just controlled by this. You start wreaking havoc and just, yeah, so weird.
Imagine like coming out of this like 100 years or 200 years after you were like first captured, and you're just like either eroding away into dust, or just like waking up and being like, oh my god, what happened? What did I do to those people?
Yeah, what a weird dream that was. It wasn't a dream.
Everything from around 2012, let's say, was all been a bad dream.
Yeah.
I'd say 2016. Harambe's death.
Well, Bubba Jack, when were you born again? That's probably when it all started.
When it all started, all the problems.
I am the beginning of the end. I am the Antichrist. I am I am the prodigal
Yeah,
son.
see, that's what. Fuck. Yeah.
Get out of here.
Get out
Yeah,
of here.
you messed it up too. Aha!
Right. Let's keep going with their ship tech. Uvoth gravity sails. Gravity sails can touch the quantum forces that bind stellar systems together, allowing their ships to move with agility and grace and no visible means of propulsion. Viskeon rupture cannons. A strange and terrible abomination of a macro battery, little is known about these xenos weapons. They seem to fire munitions through the warp, with the warheads only emerging into real space just before they strike their target. That's kind of cool. And the Imperium energy arc. Far worse than the rupture cannons, these energy arcs seem to be generated from the cores of Uvoth vessels, and no armor can withstand their punishing strike.
Big fan of
Couple
guns.
things. Yeah.
Especially
You know, who knows if those are on like every ship? Like, who knows if even the Whisper has those on it? Their tech, it can be anything. They might have gravity sails on one, but they also have unlimited energy drives on another one, so you don't need gravity sails. They're crazy constructs always.
Yeah. I mean, also, why would they make any sense either? They're warp constructs.
Yeah.
But that's really dependent on their military strategy at that time. The military forces of the Uvoth were not organized armies, but horrifying amalgamations of sorcery, constructs, and enslaved species. Their foot soldiers were often warp-altered thralls or biomechanical horrors built from the enslaved xenos and corrupted flesh. They deployed daemon-infused constructs, floating war engines, and crystalline guardians powered by suffering. Defensive strongholds were labyrinthine fortresses imbued with psychic traps and sentient architecture. In naval warfare, their ships employed warp weaponry, cursed cannons, and shield systems bound with warp entities, making them unpredictable and terrifying foes. Rather than conventional tactics, the Uvoth used terror and madness. They used warping weapons to shatter enemy cohesion. They rarely fought to conquer. They fought to break and remake. Despite their extinction, derelict constructs and automated defenses continue to kill within the ruins of their empire. Acting on ancient commands, the legacy of their warcraft is not one of conquest, but of annihilation by slow, creeping corruption. They seem really interesting. Just in everything they do is simply due to just some chaotical gains, such as Malal.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that. Like, I didn't want to mention it, but these guys were my very first kind of Chaos Unbound Xenos race that would be tied to them. I feel like they fit Unbound concept very well, where you're not worshiping any of the gods of the warp, but you're definitely drawing the powers of the warp, and you're using its energies, and you're not necessarily using them to like spawn a third arm or cast lightning bolts. You're like using it to power systems, power machines, and like do that kind of weird, interesting stuff.
Yeah, you're using it as a resource to be harvested rather than a resource to be used.
Yeah. So that's a great way of saying it. They use it as a resource for sure. So yeah, these guys were a very good runner-up for like that Unbound concept, more so than Malal, which is more of that literal just chaos. Where these guys, it might seem chaotic to us, but I think there still is that plan to it. They still like have goals and
yeah. I mean,
like
building like literal like relics and stuff is in and of itself a goal.
Yeah, exactly.
To build it.
Yeah, like the thing about Malal is you can't really ever have anything organized at all follow them because they'll always you can't even get to that stage, man. So even civilizations like a whole Xenos race worshipping Malal, like you can't really get to that unless they're all just like Stone Age cavemen, you know?
Yeah, and they have no idea that they're worshipping anything anyways.
Yeah. The last little bit for these guys is their relations with the galaxy. The Uvoth were largely isolationists in terms of diplomacy, but expansionist and ruthless in action. They enslaved numerous lesser species, using them as fodder, raw materials, or living components in arcane constructs. Their interactions with other major powers were either hostile or non-existent. They did not negotiate or ally, they dominated or corrupted. Their presence in the Calexis and Kronos expanse brought them into eventual conflict with the Imperium during the Angbin Crusade, which led to their downfall. There's little evidence, and they interacted meaningfully with other known xenos powers like the Eldar or Orcs. Though their warp activity may be drawn, though their warp activity may have been drawn their notice, to the Imperium they are remembered as a dire threat purged by holy fire. Yet the Inquisition remains wary of their lingering influence. To rogue traders, Uvoth relics are both tantalizing and forbidding. The galaxy does not mourn their fall, but it has not escaped their shadow. Yeah, that's interesting. Like you hope you know it's a Uvoth relic before it's too late, essentially. Before you use it even just like a little bit. Hopefully you find out it's gonna corrupt you and ruin your whole life.
Yeah. I love everything they do. I'm gonna be honest. It's very cool. They got the schizophrenia machine. They got the cool crown that makes you also schizophrenic. Lots of schizophrenia.
Yeah, lots of madness and just like
big fan.
Just the uncontrolled powers of the warp just drive you mad. And there's so many ways that it can drive you mad. Very cool.
Very awesome. Christian's muted.
I was gonna say, I feel like you're projecting your schizophrenia.
I would never project
relating to maybe.
Yeah.
You can't. By the way, you can't at all pass schizophrenia to somebody else if you surround them in schizophrenic people. It's not possible. It can't happen.
Listen,
Christian,
it can't be done.
Can't be done, Christian. We should hang out more, though. Definitely, I wouldn't give you schizophrenia. I wouldn't pass it to you.
Oh man. So tabletop rules and minis. The scale of these guys, well, they're dead. We don't see them anymore, but we get their relics, and that's why I feel like I mentioned them, because even though they're gone, their relics are around. So it's not so much that we see them, we see their relics. So they could be on your chapter master. They could be on your Dark Elder. They could be kind of they're that kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like some constructs, though, you can make out of like OCR Bone Reaper models. Could do something like that.
OCR Bone Reapers or the Dryad, I forget what they're called, but like the tree models. Like just imagine that big tree beard model from AOS, but with some dark energy kind of in it.
Yeah.
I think they could be cool one-off enemies. Like if you just had them come back as like their planet came back suddenly and now they like the same kind of just the same thing that happened with the word bearers and the space wolves, but instead you get to kill something at the end and we finally kill off a species.
No, we've done that enough. I like where they're at. I like this kind of like you could still have these one-off bass bottles. Like you dig open this relic and that's what was hidden was just one of those bone wardens or like some other crazy bizarre construct that you make up.
The Lupercal. Sorry, finish your thought.
Nope, that was it.
Oh. The Lupercal says just a larger marble on a 32mm base. I was also going to recommend that as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the big target marble or the big target ball. You just take one of those.
Yeah.
I want one.
Rules for them, that who fucking knows, man. You can do whatever you want. Yeah, roll some dice.
Instantly kills you and puts you into a gun.
Yeah, I like that. I like that gun. That's a great relic.
If you roll a 2, instantly kills you. If you roll a 3, instantly kills you also.
Every time it kills somebody, do you or every 100 kills, does that 100th person then go into the gun, starting a new horrific cycle, you know?
Maybe. It's up to them. It's how they feel.
It's random.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you roll a 6, then you put them into the gun and the gun gets more powerful, but the gun still instantly kills no matter what.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah, that'd be a good rule. It'd be so
fair.
They
are cool. I was happy to learn about them. They're definitely they definitely have a spot in my personal lore, just like I said with the Unbound concept. But yeah, Cool vibe they give off.
Yeah, great guys to invite to parties.
Yeah, man. Lots of cool party tricks, I'm sure. All right, let's go to the last Xenos for the night, the Zoats. They are a mysterious and ancient Xenos species that have appeared sporadically through Imperial history. Initially introduced to the galaxy as emissary and shock troops of the Tyranid hive fleets, they were genetically engineered by the Tyranids as symbiotic servitors. However, many Zoats eventually rebelled against their masters, displaying signs of independent will. The Imperium's encounters with the Zoats are rare and often contradictory, with some reports classifying them as hostile, while others describing them as diplomatic or even helpful. In recent millennia, sightings have become extremely uncommon, fueling speculation that they are either extinct, in hiding, or operating beyond known space. Their reappearance has more recent records, often as powerful lone wanderers, has reignited interest and unease in equal measure. Whether renegade scouts, survivors of the ancient betrayal, or something entirely new, Zoats remain a footnote in many records, but a significant enigma for those who study Xenos life. Yeah, cool. This kind of dual life of these Zoats. They were created by the Tyranids, and then they somehow were able to break free. They were never given the hive mind, maybe, but they were able to rebel. Some of them didn't, though, so then you might run into one that's still kind of attached and doing the will of the hive mind, but you also might be able to talk to them and trade with them, and they realize the galaxy's dangerous, and they're trying to get away from the Nids just as much as you are. So
yeah,
cool.
they have like a whatever floats your Zoat mentality.
Yeah, they sure do.
I've been waiting to make that pun all night.
Oh my god, worth it.
Oh,
It felt like a
you
legit.
truly are the Zoat of making jokes, for sure.
Thank you. It
The
felt like
Zoatest
a
of all time.
true elite.
The
Yeah.
Zoat.
Christian, I'm gonna need that name that you took. I want
Okay.
it.
Give me a second. Before we do that, though, let's talk a little bit of what they look like. What do these great species look like? Zoats possess a distinct centroid form with a powerful quadrupedal lower body and a humanoid upper torso. Their tough, scaled hides vary in color, though greenish-gray tones are common, and they have wide, squat faces with blunt snouts and small, intelligent eyes. Muscular and broad-shouldered, Zoats are significantly larger and heavier than a typical human, combining brute strength with surprising agility. Despite their bestial appearance, their physiology is a result of deliberate Tyranid bioengineering, intended to create a durable, intelligent species capable of independent command functions. They are capable of limited biological regeneration and are known for remarkable physical resilience. Internally, Zoats share some genetic markers with Tyranid organisms, yet possess independent organs suited for speech, cognition, and sustained activity, factors that enabled some to develop autonomy. Their hybridized biology, both Tyranid and unique, makes them a rare and fascinating anomaly in the galaxy's tangled evolutionary history. Mark's pulled up some models for those watching. They're almost, to me, anyways, felt crocodilian. And then,
okay.
but they have 4 legs like a centaur, and then like
maybe more alligator, because crocodile's nose is different. You fucking idiot. That's more alligator.
you're
nosy.
moron. Oh my god.
You haven't even been to Florida?
Also, realistically, you said they're crocodilian, and crocodiles are more aggressive than alligators, and these guys might be diplomatic. So
Yeah.
really, if you want to be dumb, you could just say
You
that.
know what? Now I get it why he's the worst. I'm writing an
Yeah.
email to Lorehammer.
Yeah.
That's cool thought though. I found the word that I was trying to find for like the raccoon, where it's like the centaur but not a horse, and it's centoid. Where you got that cross between in this case the crocodile alligator
hybrid
leg creature.
You could just be
Centoid.
fucking making that up, and I fully. That sounds right. I fully believe you. Like
yeah,
it
man.
sounds like such a fake word, but I love it.
You know what? When I typed it into the Google Doc, I didn't get the red squiggly line. I'm like, it's a fucking real thing.
Oh hell yeah! It's a legal
Hell yeah.
word.
It's a legal word.
I like the fact that they have on top of that they have kind of like tortoise like feet. They got the stompy feet.
Stompy. That is
don't
the
know.
scientific word for that type of stuff.
I'm not a big word man. I don't say words very often. I just read them poorly, mind you.
Yeah, they so there's also official canon art of them. They first came out a long time ago in like one of the first editions of Warhammer as like a Tyranid client species, and then they came back recently in what's that game, Mark?
Blackstone Fortress.
Blackstone Fortress. Yeah, they released an official
Oh.
model, bringing them into the canon. They also have a Blood Bowl model as well, which is really cool. I really like that. It's that charging guy right underneath. Yeah, I'd definitely I'd get both and use them both for 40K for sure.
Yeah, so
Yeah, they look
awesome,
bad.
man.
I like. Yeah, he's got like armor on him too. Like they have enough intelligence to make clothing.
Yeah, and like this guy even has like a gun.
Yeah.
Like they were described as like very intelligent, and the original thought I think was to kind of give the Tyranids like a diplomatic race, like to communicate with other people. But then I think they went a different direction.
Yeah, they're like
Went more the nom 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 route, I think.
yeah.
See if you can't pull up an old Zoat model from like way back.
Honestly, I have to ask. Since Tyranids don't have reproductive systems, how do they breed to stay alive?
They have
Spawning pools.
yeah,
Idiot.
Oh,
queens
I'm
lay-
sorry. I forgot that these crocodiles, which aren't completely aggressive, by the way, stupid idea. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just think Christian needs to put on his big boy pants and admit that he's not always right. And he's not the Zoat, that's for sure.
Fuck.
I would be a big fan if they split off like mitosis and then like the skin got all raw and they had horrible like incidents due to it. But that would be a power and abilities.
That was the worst segue I think of all time. You've done some truly horrific. I hope they have this horrific skin condition. Also, they don't. Nowhere does it even imply that they do. Here's some powers and abilities.
No, I described
Word
it
for
as
word. That was a quote. What was
abilities. I described it as a power and also abilities.
that? Fuck. All right, tell me about it.
Yeah, Zoats are formidable combatants, gifted with immense physical strength, endurance, and tactical acumen. That's what that. Okay. Originally created to serve as ambassadors and field commanders for Tyranid hive fleets, they were engineered for leadership roles, blending combat capability with strategic intellect. Many exhibit psychic potential, particularly in the areas of telepathy and biomanipulation. Though not all Zoats demonstrate these abilities, they are known for their resistance to physical damage and toxins, as well as rapid healing and non-fatal injuries. Zoats that have escaped the control of the hive mind often demonstrate extraordinary adaptability, surviving alone across hostile environments and integrating into other systems. The original design also included the ability to interface with Tyranid bioconstructs. Though this function may have atrophied or evolved since their defection, combined with their alien minds and capability of planning, a single Zoat can prove a deadly foe or a powerful ally, depending on its intent and loyalties.
They don't look smart, but they are. It's fun.
Yeah.
They look like they just are stupid as shit. But
Like Christian, except for the smart part.
no, I like the way Christian looks. I don't know, man.
Well, yeah, but like, notice how everybody says like blonde girls, not blind girls. Blonde girls are dumb, and you know, everyone also says they're hot, such as Christian.
Fuck.
See, that was a segue.
Did you just segue Christian?
Segue
Yeah,
to
what the-
what? Where are you going with this?
Segue into sexually assaulting you, Christian.
Okay, sorry. Lupercall says the worst segue has been noted at an hour and 47. No, rejot that down. Hour 48.
Updated.
Yeah,
updated
It's
worst
probably gonna happen
segue.
again too, if you're gonna be honest.
Yeah.
No, I feel like that's my top.
Yeah. I don't know how you're gonna beat segueing a human into nothing,
I
but
don't wait.
you can try. You can try.
I don't understand how Wait, Utzman said it's like Knuckles, the echidna crossbred with a donkey dragon. Are you saying that because of the four-headed penis?
Fuck.
Is that where we're going with this? Because
I don't even know what that is.
an
The
echidna,
not the forehead penis. Of course, I know what that is, but the anaconda, yeah.
an echidna is an animal from the Sonic franchise, and it has a four-headed penis. Not in the Sonic franchise. They don't do penises in the Sonic franchise.
Yeah, let's
But
talk
it's
about how
true.
hedgehogs fuck. Just kidding. Okay, let's go into their history.
They shit while they run. And they eat it too.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Can you just
mute
mute
him? Get him out of him. Yeah. Get him out of here. The origin of the Zoats lie in the darkest reaches of the galaxy as a slave race bioengineered by the Tyranids, designed as diplomats, field commanders, and interpreters of the hive mind's will. Zoats were granted partial autonomy to interact with alien species and Tyranids on the Tyranids' behalf. However, this independence proved double-edged. Many Zoats developed a sense of identity and turned against their creators, initiating a scattered rebellion. These renegades fled across the galaxy seeking refuge from their pursuers. Early Imperial records from the Great Crusade and Horus Heresy eras mention Zoats briefly, alongside xenos extermination campaigns. Their numbers diminished drastically over time, likely due to Tyranid retaliation or natural attrition. While many believe Zoats to be extinct, isolated encounters persist, usually involving solitary Zoats appearing as wandering warriors, mercenaries, and envoys. Their brief reappearance in recent millennia suggests the species is not gone, only hidden, and possibly planning something greater. So this is interesting. We got some timelines here. They're around in 30K, and as we know, 40K Tyranids really just came around in. They've only been around for like a couple hundred years, 500 years, not even 1,000 years. Having said that, there are some hive ships that are rumored to be like they think a hive ship landed on Catachin back in the day and seeded that planet with some life. And there are some examples of Tyranid hive ship rumored to have kind of crash landed places really early. My other thought would be, what's that?
Could have been like scout ships or lost ships or just random. Yeah.
Yeah. They sent out scout ships to every direction, and then when they found a lock, they would kind of send the signal. Was kind of the concept, I think. But the Zoats could have been fleeing the Tyranids from beyond the void, essentially, and could have come to the Milky Way galaxy in the 30K Horus Heresy era. Before the Tyranids even arrived. Was my other thought.
What if the Zoats are the original Tyranids?
Like the Tyranid? No. Okay, you could almost maybe think that they're the original Tyranid creators.
Not even the creators, but like a birth race of like, okay, we need this war species, and then it was like, oh god, our war species got too good at war. And that's why you see some of them like splitting off and like doing their own shit and trying to help people. Whereas some of them are like, no, our war species is badass. You guys are dumb.
Yeah.
I actually kind of
like where they are. Oh, you like it? Okay.
I like that. Yeah.
Never mind. I think it's a horrible idea.
Shut your mouth.
Oh, tell me more. Tell me more. Why you?
I don't like their link though because they're so reptilian and Tyranids are more bug-like. Like there's very little. They share very little in looks, I think. But
okay, well, you clearly haven't seen how technology. We made a dog for a robot dog, and then we put guns on it. Like I don't.
That doesn't look like humans, does it?
Last I checked, the robot in creation doesn't need to look human. That'd be a little
still
weird.
Turned on by it. What else do you need?
Yeah. Like when I shoot down a Reaper drone or something, I don't want to have to cut its hands and feet off to grill it, so I don't lose my mind. Because that's what you have to do.
What's happening to poor Christian?
Anyways,
poor Christian, he's loving this.
Let's talk about their homeworld and galactic geography.
Yeah, let's get
Just get geography wrong.
Geography.
The
Zoats have no known original homeworld, as they were bioengineered by the Tyranids in deep space, likely within one of the early hive fleets. Their origin lies beyond the boundaries of the known galaxy, in the cold void from which the Tyranids came. As they were never naturally occurring species, Zoats lacked a native planetary ecosystem. Instead, their earliest habitats were likely the organic structures and voidcraft of the Tyranid fleets. After rebelling against the hive mind, many Zoats scattered through the galaxy, hiding in uncharted systems, dead worlds, or ancient ruins. Their distribution today is erratic and unknown. Some may reside in isolated Xenos enclaves, while others travel as solitary agents, avoiding attention. It is possible that they have settled a new hidden world, but if so, it remains undiscovered. Their disconnection from a central world has contributed to their fragmented culture and rare appearances.
I'm genuinely enjoying these guys. They have they have nothing, and that gives them everything. They have nothing to lose from what they do. So they could decide to help humans, they could decide to kill all humans, and none of it matters because they have nothing else. They've already been betrayed by their own creations.
He's leaning into it. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're not even from this galaxy, so it's not like they have anything here, no roots or nothing. Like,
Yeah. And
I
they're
was gonna say,
overseeing their visa.
Alligators are very clearly from here. I just want to throw in facts.
Yeah, but crocodiles aren't. So, anyways, let's talk more about their culture and beliefs on account of the fact that they have them. That wasn't a segue. As a species born of slavery and rebellion, the culture of the Zoats is largely speculative. Originally designed without a culture, engineered only to serve, their post-defection society appears fragmented and individualistic. Rebellious Zoats often exhibit traits of pragmatism, self-preservation, and wariness toward authority, especially hive mind-like control structures. Some may follow an internal code, while others operate as mercenaries or lone scholars. There is no evidence of organized rebellion or centralized government among Zoats, though scattered individuals have been reported to show reverence for knowledge of or ancient truths. A Zoat's belief system may depend heavily on its life experiences following escape from Tyranid control. Some appear driven by vengeance, others by a desire for peace or redemption. Their psychic sensitivity may allow them to form deep empathic or telepathic bonds with others, though this is rare. Whatever beliefs they do hold, they are likely shaped by isolation, survival, and trauma of engineered servitude. I really like the fact that they brought up the fact that they are very against government. I mean, we saw that during America, where right after the Revolutionary War against Britain, America could not figure out how to develop a government because they were super anti-federal, just big governments, and they had to figure out a way to sneak it in like medicine and with they had to wrap it up in ham and feed it to the American people.
That's funny. I thought you were going to compare them to black people and slavery, but you didn't go there.
Kind of wanted to say Liberia. I kind of wanted to say Liberia because they also had an issue, but then just immediately based their government off of the American government, wrote the Constitution.
Lupercal has a fun little thought here going through the chat. The thing most people don't really contemplate is that 40K is set in one galaxy and that always gives potential for extragalactic species like the Tyranids being able to pop in and out of history. Could have been a scout party or the only part of the fleets that managed to get across the void. The difference could be that the Nids evolution changed that from the Zoats' original creation, that they look completely different than when they met them. Isn't that interesting? After you've eaten a couple galaxies, the Tyranids start to look very different than their original creators. Then he goes on to say, the Nids could have been more scaly when they were created, the Zoats, but 100 years of evolution and them devouring different DNA, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, or even just the fact that they were we're not big fans of we're not scalies anymore.
Never wanted to be a lizard. I always wanted to be a bug. I
never wanted to blink sideways. I always wanted to have 8 eyes.
Ever since I was a child. Centoid.
Centoids are us.
Let's talk about their technology. Though once integrated into the Tyranid biotech, Zoats have demonstrated access to advanced non-organic technologies since their defection. It is unclear whether these tools were scavenged, stolen, or created, but some Zoats have been seen wielding weapons and armor that blend organic and synthetic elements. In older Imperial records, Zoats use energy-based weaponry, such as plasma projections or graviton hammers, and they also have exhibited advanced medical and navigational capabilities. Lacking the hive mind support, independent Zoats must be self-reliant, can't read tonight, or ever, suggesting a high level of technology illiteracy. No, I'm the illiterate one. They have technological literacy. Their tools often appear alien yet refined, and some may incorporate biotech from their former masters or mimic Tyranid functionality without hive control. Notably, Zoats have been reported piloting advanced voidcraft capable of warp travel, implying they maintain or have learned sophisticated interstellar engineering. Though rare, their technology reflects a fusion of brutal utility, organic infusion, and adaptive genius born of survival, without a species-wide infrastructure. Yeah, cool. Cool way to describe it. Organic, brutal, and like adaptive. Like they kind of take what they want, kind of do their thing to it. Yeah.
They don't care. Yeah, they don't care what it looks like. They care what it works like.
Yeah. All right, let's get into their military. Zoats were originally created as battlefield commanders for Tyranid forces, and their design reflects their martial heritage. In their service to the hive mind, they often led swarms into battle, coordinating attacks and interpreting the will of the hive through partial synaptic control. After breaking free, many retained their warrior instincts, turning their skills toward mercenary work, personal protection, or even lone crusades. Armed with both psychic powers and heavy weapons, a single Zoat can pose a significant threat. In the past, small groups of Zoats have been encountered acting in unison, suggesting the possibility of isolated war bands or even the remnants of a structured military hierarchy. Their fighting style blends brutal close combat power with long-range weaponry and tactical intelligence. Though not widespread or organized into a formal military force, Zoats remain potent fighters whose experience, durability, and hybrid abilities make them feared on any battlefield they choose to enter.
Cool. Yeah,
they are really cool.
Not a lot of them, but yeah, they're like fighting a huge slab of muscle and psychic power, and yeah,
very awesome. Maybe they have a crotolid running inside of their ship and like a hamster ball. That's how they develop.
Yes,
that would be amazing. But that would also imply that they have certain galactic relations. Zoats. See, yeah, that was all right.
That was okay.
Yeah, that was by definition a segue. Zoats occupy a strange place in the galactic order, neither fully integrated into any known alliance nor outright enemies of all. Their past association with the Tyranids caused suspicion and hostility from most Imperial forces. Though some rogue traders and inquisitors have reported negotiating with individual Zoats under special circumstances, the Imperium in general treats them as xenos threats, though their rarity means few protocols exist for them. The Tau Empire has shown interest in xenos integration, but no official record confirms diplomatic contact with Zoats. Eldar forces treat Zoats as anomalies, sometimes ignoring them, sometimes eliminating them outright. Orcs, on the other hand, enjoy fighting them for sport. Ultimately, the Zoats are enigmatic. Some act as allies of convenience, others as predators or hermits. Their reluctance to form allegiances may stem from past betrayals or simply a desire to remain hidden from Tyranid detection, keeping their presence quiet and untraceable.
Yeah. It would be terrifying to be in their position and to be like, we know what the Tyranids are. Like they would in theory know how many galaxies they devoured. They're on their 57th galaxy. Like, we got to get away from them. We got to hide. They're like, it'd be panic, man.
I feel like they're great for story. Like you could just have them pretty much like give detail on the Tyranids that we don't have now. Which, again, that would kill one mystery, but cause 50 others to be born.
You could do it nicely though, where it's like, since it's like in-world source, it's very easy to say, well, that Zoat was just talking out of his ass, you know. So you still could like theorize and go into it a little bit more without actually confirming it.
That's
which would
fair.
Be nice.
That's fair. And like that would be great just to have like a Zoat say something, because I agree with you. You're right.
Yeah.
Unless Christian agrees.
I'm undecided. I will.
I'm very decided.
They do have one named character called the Archivist who basically goes around and archives this history of this galaxy. So whether that's like he thinks he's like trying to preserve it because he knows what's going to happen to it, you know, or whatever. Interesting character if you want to go read about him, the Archivist.
Yeah, that would also very easily be awful. Just like some dude being like, "Hey guys, you're gonna be around in the next 100 years. Don't worry about it. Yeah, can you tell me everything about you?
Tell me everything about you.
Yeah, you'll be around.
Write down everything so you will be remembered when you're gone. If you're gone.
Yeah, you'll never be gone. You wouldn't. No, it's okay.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, the Zoats are interesting. It's interesting they brought him back after so long. There is a hot streak of running there where GW kind of dipped its toes back into all these kind of old retro things, and this was one of those things they pulled out. So kind of cool. I like what they did with it.
I like that they have a lot of dinosaur design to them. At least the older ones, very very dinosaur-esque.
There's something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody said they looked like Trandoshan.
Trandoshans.
I thought that was a dinosaur, not something else.
Star Wars.
No, that would have gotten me very into it, but yeah, sadly it was Star Wars. Somebody here liked that for whatever reason. So.
Yeah. Well, that was that. The Zoats. Very cool. And believe it or not, man, we went through the whole alphabet of minor xenos and we've reached the end of it. So many cool ones. I love it. It makes me want to go deeper, and maybe I'll talk about that in a second. Going deeper.
That's what you said.
Yeah, it was cool. So which one did you guys like? Would you kind of want to see more of any of them? Anything kind of getting to you? The Uvoth was cool. I really liked them.
They were really cool. I can't lie. The Zoats, the fact that they could explain so much and so little at the same time really interests me.
Okay. Even more so than the Uvoth and all their shenanigans.
I mean, they do have the dick ships, but they're already dead. So it's fuck them. I built a 50-foot wall to keep them out.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Christian, how about you? You got any favorite in this episode?
Zoats or Viskeon for sure. I'd like to, if the Viskeon had some official models, or if there was an easy way to make some official models, that would be cool.
Yeah.
But just the fact that the Zoats have official models, I do like them. I might buy. They only have the 2 models. It'd be cool to have both of them.
Yeah.
And you have all the Zoats in the galaxy. Just the 2.
Yeah. You'll definitely be painting.
Round them up. Put them in a camp.
And maybe they can concentrate on getting more of them.
Yeah, hopefully.
You would call such an establishment.
Take care. You could take care of them there too.
Yeah, and work would make them free.
I will.
Yes.
I hate you both. Let's.
Okay. Other minor xenos episodes. Wow. Other minor xenos episodes. Let me run past an idea past everyone. So we have done now. This is a second pass of minor xenos episodes. The first round we did was like an overview. It was very early. They were at like episode 18 to 20 or something like that.
Yeah,
but it was just like, yeah, they were old. They were like 5 minutes on each race. Then we came back and we've now kind of expanded on races that I feel like had enough information to talk about for 30 minutes. Now I think maybe I do one more go around that is completely non-canon, and there's still a handful more that would be fun to talk about and create, whether we create them live on the show or I create them beforehand or whatever. But I think there's a couple more that we should create non-canon ones and just expand. And I'm not talking like, we don't need to expand the ones that are like, they were exterminating the Great Crusade. But there's more than that. There's a lot more. So I think we're going to get into that. If you would like that style of message, because I know that's kind of not standard Lorehammer since it's not canon, let me know. Maybe I'll just label them as bonus episodes and call it a day. But that's the thought I've been having. More minor Xenos.
Bring him back.
Bring him back.
Bring back the Xenos.
Yeah.
Maybe you can be the one to gaslight GW into writing more Xenos.
Yeah, man. Well, yeah, we'll do their job for them. It's no big deal. I don't even need to get paid unless you want to join my Patreon. But I don't need that.
But like you should though,
like
'cause it's a really good idea. Yeah.
Yeah. I do.
He,
like it, though.
he shows
really
he
like
shows his nipples a lot, by the way, on stream. If anybody wants to see nipples and feet.
No, I'm just showing a tattoo.
Okay, yeah.
For the show.
Yeah.
All right. Well, fun episode, man. The next episode. This was episode 199. Next episode is episode 200. Wild. I went fast.
Hopefully we will not be announcing the end of Lorehammer on episode 200.
Stay
You know?
tuned.
I don't know.
Who knows?
Who is Mark going to eat this time? Which host?
Christian.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
got
maybe.
the most protein.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we're gonna do that on the Wednesday. So if you're watching live, it's not gonna be on our Tuesday episode. That's gonna be a bonus episode. So definitely try to make Wednesday the 25th of June to the 200th episode. I would definitely love to do as many call-ins as possible and just get like your hobby journey, maybe a Lorehammer testimonial, whatever you're into. That's not going to be the whole show, but there's definitely going to be a call-in aspect that we go hard on since we haven't done it all for a minute. But yeah, that's all for now. We're out of time. If you want to come listen to more of me reading, I really, really don't get it, but apparently you guys have some masochistic fetish for listening to me read. Go check out the Lorehammer Listen to Lore podcast where I read your homebrew lore.
And if you like lizard aliens like the Zoats, and as mentioned in the episode, the Trandoshans, come check out the Star Wars podcast with myself and Jordan co-hosting to explore the Star Wars galaxy.
Yeah, very cool. And if you want to avoid Bobby Jack, join the Discord so you can know what episodes he's featured on, and you can avoid him that way.
Yes. Or you could say things and I will be in your DMs and I will be harassing you.
Yeah.
The police will not be able to help you.
No
Have
man,
time.
woman, or God can save you from Bobby
No,
Jack.
I will steal all of the stop signs on your street. There will be numerous incidents.
Cool. Well, thanks everyone for listening. We'll see you all in the next episode. Adios.